So Sony just came out with the ZV-E1, which I think this is one of the coolest cameras I've seen in a long time because of all the cool AI features. But in this video, I'm going to kind of talk to you about why you don't need those AI features, in particular framing. So Sony has this new auto framing feature, which what it does is it will crop in and it will kind of stabilize you as you walk around or as you move around. So if I come over here or if I come over here, like it's just going to frame me and follow me around, which I really don't think this is a feature that most content creators need. And I kind of think it's a gimmick a little bit. In the last few years, there have actually been a lot of new gimbals that have come out that had this same feature. And what you could do is you just have like a monitor and the gimbal will kind of track you as you walk around the frame. And I've seen like a lot of people really excited about this feature, but I don't see anyone ever using it. And this is going to be the same thing with this camera. Like, it's a cool feature. It's a really low cost feature. You wouldn't have to buy one of these gimbals or you wouldn't have to have someone kind of follow you around, which is kind of nice. And it does add some variety to your video. So, if you want to use it for that, maybe that's a good reason to get it. If you want to add a little bit variety, just kind of show things a little bit differently as you walk around throughout your frame. But in general, most people don't need this feature. And I really do think it's just a gimmick. And the reason why I don't like it is, first of all, it crops in. And so it's like the camera is not moving at all. If you have a gimbal, the camera will actually move around to follow you. And this changes, what the actual background looks like. But with this feature, it's not changing that at all. And it's just changing the framing position, which you can actually do in post. I know that's a lot more work, and so that's kind of why I don't think it's that cool of a feature. Now, another thing with this feature, they have the center framing, okay? So with center framing, it is kind of cool because it always keeps you in the center frame, but it also crops in to do that, and there are some issues with center framing, and the main thing I don't like about this is it's mainly for just people that are vlogging, but you don't really need to be in the center of the frame anyways if you're vlogging because you're kind of already in the center frame. So when would center framing be valuable? So I would say that the most value you're going to find out of this is if I'm doing like a video like this or if I'm vlogging and you just want to be in the center of the frame. But I feel like this problem is already fixed anyway because what you can do is you just get your monitor flipped out. You can see yourself perfectly fine and you just put yourself in the center of the frame. Now, sometimes I'm not exact and sometimes I can just fix this very easily in post, but it doesn't really matter, right? And so I don't really care if I'm just slightly out of the center of the frame. Now, the other feature is it can put you like on the side of the frame so you can showcase whatever product you have here, or maybe you're trying to show like a landscape in the background. And this can be kind of cool, but you can easily do this by just moving your body around and looking at the screen while you're filming yourself. So I really don't see this as that important of an issue, and I think it's just like they're just adding all these marketing gimmicks onto the product to make you want to buy it more. But I do really think it is cool that Sony has introduced all these new AI features because it's kind of refreshing because I don't know any other camera brands like Canon or Nikon or anyone that's really doing a lot of these AI features. And it's cool that Sony has finally started doing this and seeing this as important. And I'm hoping that they will continue to go on this path and start creating more ways to improve the bokeh in the background, finding ways to improve HDR in video and photos. There's so much that they can do with this AI, and it's really cool that they finally have a fast enough processor to be able to do all these things. But auto framing, I think, for the most part, it's just kind of a gimmick. It's not really something you really need, and that's not going to be a reason why I would buy this camera. The main reason why I would buy this camera is two things. First, it's a 12 megapixel sensor. It's pretty similar to the A7S3. You're going to get a lot of really cool things just because it's similar to the A7S3. You're going to get that low light performance. You're going to get just really good video performance. And then the second reason is stabilization. The stabilization with this, with that new active and dynamic stabilization, it's just so much better. But I would still say it's not like necessary reason to buy this because you can still just use a gimbal to get that same quality, but it is really cool because all of this comes in a really small form factor, and that's smaller than the A7 III, that's smaller than the A7S III, it's smaller than the FX3, and it's just going to be more lightweight and easier to move around. And so definitely a reason to get this if you are a content creator and you're interested in just making YouTube videos or filming yourself or filming other anything for like a YouTube channel. I think this is an awesome camera to get, but those AI features are not the reason to get it. And I really think that you can get by with like an older camera. So like if you have an A5100, an A6000, and you're like beginning a beginning filmmaker, like levitate to those cameras. Those are great cameras. You can get an A7R2, you can get A7 III. Like all these are really good cameras. I currently shoot on the A7 IV and the A7C, and I love these cameras. And the main reason why I'm not getting the ZV-E1 is because it doesn't have a shutter, right? The other thing is it doesn't have a viewfinder. I will definitely be interested in this camera when they come out with something similar like the A7C Mark II. That would be a cool camera because I love the EVF in my A7C, and I love that it pretty much does everything for video. So if they came out with like an A7C II with all these same features, but it also has like an actual shutter, that's the camera I would get. But the problem is when they do come with the A7C II, it's going to be a 24 megapixel camera, and it's not going to have the low light performance like this 12 megapixel sensor. So if you are interested in video and you want really good quality on a budget, like a pro camera, I would say this is definitely a good camera to look at, especially if you're a content creator, but it's not necessary. And I do think there's a number of other cameras that you could use, like the A5100, awesome camera. All you really need in a content creator camera is face tracking. Face tracking, autofocus, that's pretty much all we need. If you have that, you don't really need much more. So it's a great camera, but you don't have to have it. And if you're just beginning and starting out and you need something affordable, I would go with something a lot cheaper like the A5100, A6000, A6100, or A7 III. What do you think about AI framing? Do you think it's a gimmick? Do you think it's worth it? Do you see like how you could actually use this in your photography? Because I don't see how you could use this in your video at all. I don't understand the importance of it. I know a lot of people use it. I mean, maybe if you're like tracking a car or a plane or something like that. But for me, like walking around for content creation, like it doesn't really do it for me. And I don't see why it would be an important feature to have. So anyway, I hope you like this video. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks.